Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKRBC. I'm Raymond Yeung.
And I'm Isabel Wong. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Chinese and U.S. leaders exchange barbs at APEC summit.
Police will probe if any officer had breached procedures over fugitive escape.
Tens of thousands turn up for annual Pride Parade in Causeway Bay.
A verbal spat between Chinese and U.S. leaders has caught the headlines at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Papua New Guinea today.
President Xi Jinping warned against rising protectionism, while U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said the U.S. will not back down from the U.S.-China trade dispute unless Beijing bows to the U.S. demands. President Xi Jinping and U.S. Vice President Mike Pence traded barbs in their speeches at a summit of world leaders today. At the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Papua New Guinea, Xi told his audience that protectionism is slowing global growth as he outlined Beijing's commitment to open up China's markets.
人类又一次站在十字路口上。
The Belt and Road Initiative is an open platform for cooperation. It is guided by the principles of the consultation and cooperation for a share of the benefit, Xi said. The president also said the Belt and Road Initiative is not an exclusive club that is closed to non-members, nor it is a trap as some skeptics have labeled it. In a bluntly worded speech, Pence declared that the U.S. would not back down from the ongoing trade disputes so long as China did not make concessions.
The United States, though, will not change course until China changes its ways.
The U.S. Vice President also took direct aim at Xi's flagship Belt and Road program, cautioning countries should not accept debt which might compromise their sovereignty.
Know that the United States offers a better option. We don't drown our partners in sea of debt. We don't coerce or compromise your independence. The United States deals openly and fairly. We do not offer a constricting belt or a one-way road. When you partner with us, we partner with you, and we all prosper.
Pence also warned Washington was ready to impose more tariffs on Chinese imports on top of levies already imposed on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods. Pence's statement contrasted with remarks made by U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday. In a softening stance, Trump said he may not impose more tariffs after China allegedly offered the U.S. a list of concessions it was willing to take to ease tensions. Those remarks gave a modest lift to stocks on Friday, but a stock warning from Pence today will likely be unwelcome news to financial markets as investors had hoped for a thaw in the U.S.-China trade conflicts. Police Chief Stephen Low said the force will look into whether any officer had breached custody procedures after a fugitive escaped from Queen Mary Hospital yesterday.
At the same time, Low stood by a constable who opened fire on a knife-wielding man in a busy MTR station earlier this month, saying her snap judgment was reasonable and correct. Riley Chan reports.
Police Commissioner Stephen Low had a whole plate of issues to tackle when he met the press at a passing-out parade this morning. Yesterday, a 34-year-old suspect escaped from Queen Mary Hospital through the bathroom ceiling. It is understood that the suspect was not handcuffed or shackled at the time. While police continued a citywide manhunt today, Low said he would investigate if any police officer had failed to adhere to guidelines regarding the handling of suspects in custody.
We have a established procedure and guidelines in how to escort a prisoner to attend hospital. At the moment, we are doing our inquiries, and if any officer is found to contravene any guidelines or established procedure, we will take follow-up actions.
Low also responded to media reports that Border Patrol guards from Shenzhen had trespassed into Hong Kong territory, even occupying a large piece of land for years. Footage showed the guards had repeatedly crossed the border through a private bridge, which seems to be recently built. When confronted for an explanation on why the issue could evade attention by police on Border Patrol, Low said officers only patrol within the border fence erected to deter illegal immigrants. However, the police chief admitted certain areas under Hong Kong jurisdiction fall outside the fence, and he has pledged to review its patrol strategy. On a separate issue, Lo also confirmed a female constable had the right to draw out her pistol and fire at a man wielding a utility knife during rush hour inside an MTR station. He applauded the reasonable and correct judgment of the officer who subdued the attacker with a shot to his abdomen. It was never easy to make a split-second decision in such a situation, Lo argued, adding tragedy could have otherwise followed. He cited the example of Jackie Chu, the constable who was stabbed in the neck whilst on patrol in Changsha 1 in 2005. Chu was left paralyzed in a near-vegetative state. Riley Chen, HKIBC.
Tens of thousands of people took to the streets for the annual Pride Parade, calling for an end to sexual orientation discrimination.
Attendees this year included Indian Prince Manvendra Singh Gohil, who said he was concerned about the SAR government's decision to ban children's books with LGBT content from appearing in public libraries. Yupina Ng reports.
The symbolic rainbow flag led the way out of Victoria Park. The annual Hong Kong Pride Parade, organized by 5 concerned groups, including Rainbow of Hong Kong, took off at 3 p.m. in Causeway Bay. Equal Opportunities Commission Chairman Alfred Chan and several pro-democracy lawmakers also attended the event. Braving drizzles, thousands of marchers decked out in colorful outfits to celebrate the parade's 10th anniversary in the city. But the march was more than just a celebration. Chanting call for the law equality for all, activists continued their years-long call for legislation against the discrimination of sexual orientation. Some marchers also said they were not happy with an apparent censorship of children's book content.